Hi friends, welcome to another episode of A This and That. My name is A This, that's one of my names. I am so excited for yet another episode. This is the second episode of 2024. Hey, see, this year is also moving. But this is the second episode of the year. It's also going to be a reflection episode. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram, the Instagram is A This and That. You know that I posted a prompt asking for your reflections. So I'm just going to read out the prompt that I posted. And the prompt is, love is such a broad and vast concept with so many dimensions. And so the question for this month is, what does love mean to you? And even before we go into any responses and unpack all that, I want you to actually take a moment and think about it. So this is February. Universally, it's known as the month of love because of Valentine's. Valentine's is coming up. First of all, wanga people are on a Valentine's, or rather, wanga people are on a Valentine's. If you know you don't have a Valentine's, well, that's too damn bad. That's too damn bad. I'm sorry, but it's okay. And I've been thinking about like this concept of love. Love is it's like a timeless concept, right? It's timeless, it's eternal, it's been there, it will always be there. But I've been thinking more specifically about how our current modern society conceptualizes love. What do we think love means for us in our current context? Whether it's romantic love, which is obviously the most emphasized, usually, whether it's familial love or friendship or even love of self, or love of community, what does love actually mean? My read is that these days, especially romantic love, has been reduced because of online discourse and everything to be a very transactional concept. And hey, I don't think there is anything wrong with transactional relationships as long as everybody involved knows and agrees that this is a transaction. But I've been thinking about love, and this is a month of love. And I've just been asking myself, what does love mean to me? How do I love? How do I receive love? There's this notion that I know most of you have heard of, the 5 languages of love. So there's like acts of service, there's physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, and gifts. Yeah, so those are the 5 love languages. Now, do I subscribe fully 100% to the concept that there are 5 languages of love? No. Because I find a lot of these categorizations, whether it's, the 16 personalities, 5 languages of love, or whatever else, I think it's limiting, and I think it's too simplistic. It's too simplistic. The categories do not account for the broad diversity that we have as individuals. I don't know that I could be distilled into one box, and none of us can. After all, we are large, made of multitudes. But I still find it a helpful concept to understand, because a lot of the time there's usually like a disconnect between people. Like one person thinks, oh, I love my friend and she's having a hard time, so I'll send them a gift or something. And the person who is on the receiving end of this gift is like, wow, my friend just sent me a gift, she couldn't even come to visit me. And so in both cases there is love, right? Like this one wants to love, this one wants to receive love, but there's a disconnect. And then the person who's being sent for a gift doesn't end up feeling loved. And then the person who sent a gift is like, oh, I gave my love to my friend. Wow, I got them a gift. And if she hears that my friend didn't even appreciate it, it's like, wow. So I've been thinking about that. And before I give my own perspective of what I think love means to me, I would want to go through some of the responses just to hear how y'all are thinking about love. So, the first response we received, short and sweet, very to the point. Love to me is actions and care. Boom. That's it. When I first read this answer, I thought, oh, maybe this person's love language is acts of service. So maybe to them, love means actions and care. But as I thought about it more, I was like, So I remembered this song by John Mayer, which says love is a verb. And I've always loved that sentence, love is a verb. When I first had it as a teenager, I was like, oh my gosh, damn, that's so deep. It is deep, to be fair. Love is a verb. And I think the message of the song is, or at least my understanding of it is, I think love is something that has to be demonstrated. Like, you have to show the love that you have for someone. Love is not a feeling. You have feelings when you love someone, feelings of warmth and affection and care and concern. But that feeling in itself is not necessarily love, right? I actually agree with this idea that love is a verb, right? So I think when I thought about this person's response, I was like, yeah, maybe their love language is acts of service, or maybe they're actually saying a very philosophical thing that love is action. Damn. That's very cool. So I genuinely just loved that response. And then somebody else said, love is an active striving for the growth and happiness of the person I love. Wow. Imagine somebody saying that about you. Hey, some of y'all are lucky. Imagine somebody saying that about you. When I read this response, my first thought was, when you love somebody, you want to see them become the best version of themselves. This actually is so beautiful. This person is not even saying, it's wishing them growth and happiness. They say it's an active striving. Active to me means what? Actions. Verb. Boom. There's alignment already with the first person's response. Okay, maybe I'm stretching it a bit, but an active striving. When you love somebody, you will literally think about when we were young and our parents, our guardians, they would be actively striving for our growth, to see us grow. They would invest in our nutrition, they would invest in our education, or they should actually invest in our, clothing and developmental success, actively striving for the growth of the person you love, like actually investing in their growth, whether it's encouraging them, pushing them, holding them accountable to goals they've made. That to this person is love. And not just their growth, but their happiness. So doing things for them that make them happy, pushing them to seek things that make them happy. This is so beautiful. It's very lovely. Another response says, this is a longer one. Love is my favorite word. Oh, that's cute. Love to me is the purpose of life on earth. Damn, that's profound. It means being seen, wow, and being held with warmth and kindness. It means seeing the divine in someone or something. It could be nature, self, a loved one, even just a blissful appreciation of life. I experience some of the purest forms of love the most in my friendships. Those humans that when we look in each other's eyes, we recognize each other for the souls that we are. The people that brighten my light and make space for all of me to flow. Whew. Damn. I feel like after this answer, I need a drink of water. So there's so much to unpack here. There's actually so much. Just close the suitcase. It's too much. So much to unpack here. Let's break it down. Love is the purpose of life on earth. And I've been thinking about how our modern society conceptualizes love and everything. I honestly think that this life is almost meaningless without one another, whatever that means, right? So it's like, okay, we have all these milestones. You were born, you go to school, you get a job, you have a career, you leave, you retire, you get your retirement benefits, you die. I think a lot of that is empty and meaningless without the connections we make with other people and with ourselves along the way. So that's why for a lot of people, even as they're seeking a career and everything, whatever, they want to make friends. They want to be part of a community. They want to find the one or the ones. Hey, people are looking to connect with other humans because I truly believe that we are beings of connection. We thrive off of connecting with each other, and that's what makes life meaningful and worth living for, right? But beyond that, love is being seen, and not just being seen, but after you have been seen, being held with warmth and kindness. So I think, to me, what this statement means is like, it's easy to say that, like, to me, love means being seen. I want to see my friend. I want to be seen by my friend. Sometimes it's not that pretty, right? Imagine all that you are, everything that, all the experiences, the thoughts, the habits, all the things you've ever done or wanted to do. Some of it has been good. Some of it has not been good. And I'm not talking about crimes. That's another category for another podcast, not this one. But when this person says, when we look in each other's eyes and recognize each other for the souls that we are, imagine how beautiful that concept is. To be seen in your entirety, to be recognized in your entirety, and to still be held with warmth and kindness, despite all your flaws, despite all your mistakes or your struggles. A lot of the times, and this is what I was thinking about partly, a lot of the times I think in our modern society, we think about love in a very transactional manner. How is this person benefiting me? And never even like, how am I benefiting this person? How is this person benefiting me? How is this thing benefiting me? How is this community benefiting? Even when we want to be part of a community, it's like, how is it benefiting me though? And a lot of the time, we want the benefit, but not anything else that comes with the package, right? A lot of the time, we are looking for somebody to accept us in everything that we are, but we're not looking to accept them in everything that they are. And I said this in my very first episode. Your friend does something wrong, boom, boom, boom. It's scissors, I'm cutting them off. Can we truly see people for who they are and not just who we want them to be, right? And after we've seen them for who they are, do we hold them with warmth and kindness? Unfortunately, I think for a lot of us, we can only see people as far as our own lens and perspective allows us to, right? Because our perspective tells us that the right way to act in this situation is this way. And so we can't accept or understand, why is this person behaving like this? Why is this person doing it like this? There are other things which are quote unquote non-negotiables, which is like, you need more of an alignment. For example, think of, and this is an issue that comes up a lot, especially when people want to get married. Okay, this person believes that when they get married, they want to have kids. That's their dream. They believe a family involves having kids. This other person believes they don't want to have kids at all. It's not something they've ever planned for. It's not in their future. They don't want to have kids. These two people can love each other so much, but fundamentally, the idea of family, which is the thing they're trying to build by coming together, is different, and there's almost no middle ground that is going to be achieved by bringing these people together, especially with a serious commitment as marriage, right? That being said, there are other things which are negotiable. So maybe I'm not scared of the dark, right? I can walk outside every woman's dream, right? I can walk outside any time of the night. I'm not really scared. If anything, I watch horror movies. I find them hilarious, not scary at all. I'll just walk through the forest in the middle of the night. The sounds don't trigger me at all. There's nothing, right? So that's me. And then there's my friend who is terrified of the dark. They sleep with the lights on every single day. They don't even want to close their eyes because it's dark under the eyelids. Like, they're scared of the dark, right? So assume we're leaving a function and it's dark and the street lights went out for some reason, right? And as we're walking home, my friend starts freaking out and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm scared, blah, blah, blah. Me, as somebody who is not afraid of the dark, if I say, this is dumb, why are you afraid of the dark? There's nothing out there. This place is safe. Why are you behaving like this? We are grown. You're not a child anymore. Why are you afraid of the dark? To me, that does not constitute accepting somebody as they are, and especially holding them with warmth and kindness. To me, when we say something like being seen and being accepted, being treated with warmth and kindness, it sounds lovely. But what that means, and I think we should keep in mind, is that sometimes that can mean when we see somebody for who they are, that might be very different than who we are. Their deepest fears might be different than our deepest fears. Some of their values, their belief systems might be very different from some of our values and our belief system. And I feel like part of love is learning to accommodate people and make space for them as they are, not as we are or as we would wish them to be. And so that's a long-winded way of saying this answer is just made me think of how beautiful and amazing it is when we see people in their true sense, and as this person says, make space for all of them to flow. Another person says, this is also short and sweet, to me love means being with family. This is very cute, this is very lovely. And this always reminds me of the Wiz Khalifa song, See You Again, where there's a line that says, how can we not talk about family when family is all we got? It's very beautiful. Also good to remember that family means different things for different people. But at least to me, what family means, and this is me taking into account all the different ways I think about family. Family to me means a space where I can be my full self without filtering. You know how, let's say I love my siblings so much, but like growing up, me and my siblings, we always fought a lot. This is usual sibling stuff. Like most people I know have had sibling drama growing up, especially when you're teenagers, you're fighting, you're arguing, blah, 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 but you fundamentally love them. Somebody said your siblings are the only people who they just irritate you, like you can't stand their presence, but you would beat somebody up for them, like you would go to war for them. And I think to me it's because being around family, especially where you're comfortable, whatever family means to you, is where you can just be your full self, where you can show those behaviors that are not for outside people, where you can just be shabby, fart, I don't know, just do the most random things and still be loved and accepted, because family is forever. At least it should be. Another one says, this is again a long one. This says, love is thoughtfulness to me. Thinking of them daily on how I can love them well and make them feel loved. This is sounding like the second person who said seeing them grow and making sure they're happy. So thinking of them daily, how I can love them well and make them feel loved, how certain actions or words will affect them positively or negatively. This is like seeing them, knowing that if I say this person will take it this way, this person will take it that way. Wow. And generally always wanting the best for the people I love. I thought of my boyfriend while saying this, but yeah, this is very cute. For me, love is thoughtfulness. I've realized I have become way more thoughtful whilst in love. Also, love is gentleness. And lastly, love brings out your truest self, and it's so beautiful to love and be loved. I'm done. That's what they said. Very cute answer. So they said they were thinking of their boyfriend when they typed this. So I'll just focus on like romantic love in that sense. So love is thoughtfulness. I actually completely agree. When you choose to spend your life with somebody, especially in a romantic way, your actions affect them, your words affect them, your decisions affect them. And part of that being in love is taking into consideration, how does this affect them? I think it doesn't even have to be how things will affect them. It can also be, I know friend A, let's say, loves flowers. And so maybe she's just had an achievement and wants to celebrate. I will get her flowers. I will have them delivered to her door and she will be so excited and so happy. I know friend B loves flowers. So I can't say, me, I usually just order flowers for people, so I will just order them for friend B, and that will be okay. Knowing that friend B hates flowers, maybe friend B prefers an experience like a spa or something. So maybe I'll book for them an appointment to the spa. It's just part of that thoughtfulness, putting some thought. Who is this person? What are the things that make them happy? What are the things that make them sad? What are the things that trigger them? Thoughtfulness is such a beautiful way of looking at it, because love is thoughtfulness, right? So I really, really love this answer. Okay, somebody else says this. Love to me is God. Among other things, love for me so far has meant safety, understanding, patience, consistency, constant presence, faithfulness, keeping your word, support, etc. But most of all, it's meant certainty or reliability. And while I have and continue to receive that from the people in my life and even strangers, lucky you, I've found that it all traces back to God. That I can't ever be certain who I will receive love from or in any given moment or season of my life, but I can trust that God will certainly provide what I need through someone, something, etc. Wow. So first of all, I love this answer a lot. I love this idea that love is safety and certainty and just not doubting. A lot of our lives are based on uncertainty. And I remember a few years back when I was experiencing a lot of uncertainty in my life. And I was speaking to a friend and I was telling them, there's so much uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how this is going to do. I don't know how that is going to go. And the person was like, that is all of life though, right? Life is just a big ball of uncertainty. We really don't know tomorrow. We really don't know what's going to happen, who's going to do what, how this is going to turn out. We just have a false sense of certainty. And I think we were talking about it from the perspective of COVID. COVID has just exposed how much actual uncertainty we have in our lives, whereas we thought we have certainty. Because generally in life, strange things happen every day. But a lot of it is built around uncertainty. But this idea that love is that security and certainty and safety even, because that security and certainty brings about a sense of safety. Whereas when you are loved by your people, by your friends, by your family, by your lover, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your partner, basically, there's that feeling of safety and security that I don't have to doubt. I don't have to question. I know if this says she's going to do this, she's going to do it because I can rely on her. And if she doesn't do it, there has to be an explanation. And to be fair, I like what this person says, that certainty, while we crave it and want it from people, sometimes that's probably not always a sure bet. We can't always know what we're going to get from people, which I agree, because there are so many factors that go into why people do things that they do. People are not robots. People are people. People are constantly experiencing a wide range of emotions, constantly exposed to different phenomena in their lives, constantly facing one challenge or another. There's constant change and motion in people's lives. This person says, for me, the only thing that I know and can trust and rely on with certainty is God. That's very, very beautiful. And some of us might be religious, some of us might not be religious, but I think the bigger idea is being able to count on and rely on something bigger than us, something that cannot be contained within the constraints of time or place or space or anything, almost a universal thing that is above us. I think that's a very, very beautiful way of looking at things. Another person says, I've really come to appreciate the love of sisterhood, even though I didn't grow up with sisters. I look at the friends God has blessed me with along the way, and honestly, it just fills my heart. It's amazing how strangers can come to feel like family, whether it's romantic or platonic. Aww. This part of this statement which says, how wild is it that strangers can come to feel like family? For me, that just proves how much as a society, as human beings, as people, as a species, we are wired to connect with other people. We are built for connection. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild that you meet somebody and with time you build such a strong connection that they can feel like family, like literally the people who basically produced you, brought you into this world, and they can feel like people who you can be your true self around. I think that is so beautiful. Like the whole purpose is to find people that we connect with and that we share our lives with. Wow, how beautiful is that concept? I love that. Okay, another response says, love to me, as James Baldwin put it, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light and also experiences and existence. It's the beautiful, warm, fuzzy feeling of experiencing the joys and the not so joys of life together. Love to me is thinking of all the things you like about someone. And this can be romantically, in friendship and family. And you remove all that. So you remove all the things you like about them, and you still can't picture life without that person. What is left is love right there. And I would want to wish that on everyone experiencing this walk of life. Wow. And this is what I think I was talking about. I think we have to also think about love in a very holistic way. It's like, yes, there's a nice part, like sharing, being seen, being loved, being taken care of. But there's also that part of truly seeing someone, even in their parts of them that you don't like very much, that you don't understand even sometimes, and still making space for that, making space for all of them. All of me, right? Loves all of you. John Legend kind of ate with that. It's like, all of me loves all of you. Okay, another person says, and this is a bit of a long one, so I'll try to distill it. Okay, so I think what this person is trying to say, it's like a whole message. So I'm just going to try and distill it and condense it. So they start by saying, they used to view love as limerence. And according to the dictionary, limerence is an involuntary obsession with another person. It's different from love or lust in that it is based on the uncertainty that the person you desire, so the person you have limerence towards, also desires you. So it's kind of like a crush, but it's a very intense, often one-sided, obsessive, and it's sometimes you're putting the person on a pedestal and you just have very strong, intense feelings of love, quote unquote, which I guess it's not really love, towards one person. And you think that is what love is, right? But this person has learned that. And oftentimes when we are thinking about somebody in that way, or like when you have feelings of limerence, which is, it's almost like an intense crush, right? You don't know them on a deeper level. You're putting them on a pedestal, which means you're looking at them as a perfect person because you think that they have the answers to your problems. You think like just being with them will solve everything. It's very intense. It's very one-sided. So this is what this person thought love was. And with time, they've come to know that love is more about connection with somebody, and part of that is, and they say, of course it should feel effortless, like you shouldn't feel like you are going against everything to love this person, but also knowing that it sometimes will require work and intentionality and actually choosing to invest in this person and in this relationship and in this friendship. But the person also says, but to me, I have also learned that part of love is setting boundaries with the person or people you love. So being able to speak up so that you don't build resentment. And this is a very important point. There can be a resentment that builds when people don't set boundaries, right? Whether it's personal boundaries, professional boundaries, whatever the case may be. And this person says that they have learned that part of love, being loved and loving other people, is setting boundaries. So it's like saying, hey, that one I can't. And being able to accept someone's boundaries, being able to make space for someone's boundaries and not taking them as a personal attack on you. So part of love is setting boundaries, because Love means like, you love the person and you make space for them and you help them grow and be happy, but you're also supposed to become your best self in a loving relationship, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's your partner. Being able to set those boundaries is part of that. It's part of having a healthy, fulfilling love relationship. And the person goes on to give a bell hooks quote. Of course, bell hooks, the queen of love, the mother of love. Genuine love is rarely an emotional space where needs are instantly gratified. To know love, we have to invest time and commitment. Dreaming that love will save us, solve all our problems, or provide a steady state of bliss or security only keeps us stuck in wishful fantasy, therefore undermining the real power of love, which is to transform us. Wow. And this person had a lot to say. They also go on to share a very well-known Bible verse from 1 Corinthians 13 verse 48, which says, "Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." I think even for those of us who might not be religious, this is a very, very beautiful framing of love. And then one last reflection before I give my view. This person says, love is giving someone access to you and not expecting access in return. I want to make you happy because I want to and not because you make me happy. I want the best for you even though you don't necessarily want the best for me. This is my view of love. Wow. This one really, really got me. This one surprised me. When I read this, I thought this person is probably talking about unconditional love. And I've always wondered, is unconditional love a thing? My view is, I think with the reflection I just read before this, I think my fear with this framing of love is that sometimes it can lead to resentment, right? I think this is beautiful and works if you're in a space of safety and security, and it's like two pure souls where one person is like, I want you happy because I want to see you happy, not because you make me happy. It's pure, it's noble, it's genuine. It's like there's no malice or agenda or there's no scheme involved. And if you have two people who feel that way towards each other, then it's very, very beautiful because the love is coming from a genuine place. It's free flowing. It's just pure. My worry with this is, and I think the person who said the last reflection, sometimes if you're not dealing with somebody who's on the same wavelength, it can lead to feelings of resentment. Because maybe I'm cynical, but I truly believe that as human beings, there is some reciprocity involved in our interactions with other people, right? And I don't think that our interactions with people are purely transactional or reciprocal, for sure. It's important to also know where your boundaries are, because I do think that there are non-negotiables, right? If somebody is abusing you or if somebody is taking advantage of you, then I think this being in this situation and continuing to, wish them happiness even if they don't wish happiness, blah, blah, I think it can be detrimental to ourselves. And so my view is, I think we should want to give and also receive. I think the beauty of love is the sharing of it. I think that's where I'm like, this surprised me because I think it works and it's beautiful if both parties are on the same wavelength. But if only one party is on that wavelength and the other party is on the opposite wavelength, then I feel like it can easily lead to resentment or even sometimes being taken advantage of. But those are the reflections I got. Thank you so much to everyone who shared. I think for me, love means to love, and to be loved is to see and be seen. I think for me, the embodiment of love is when we truly know each other. We truly know and understand each other's souls and make space for that within reason again. I think there's so many things that come together to make up who we are as people, right? And I think for me, the greatest embodiment of love is the investment and commitment to knowing someone, to truly understanding them, to seeing them in their nakedness, metaphorically, like in their rawness for who they are, understanding them even when it's different from who we are, and making space for that. It's knowing I won't put onions in the food because my wife doesn't like onions. She doesn't eat, or tomatoes. Okay, you have to cook with onions, to be fair. I won't put tomatoes in the food because my wife doesn't like tomatoes. So it's an accommodation of someone else that doesn't have a huge detriment to yourself, and just making space for that. It's being thoughtful of how do things affect them. It's truly seeing them, accepting them, and making space for who they are. I know for me, feeling loved has often felt like being seen, being understood. And I don't think it captures the whole essence of what love is. But to me, that is part of it, a huge part of it. To me, to love is to know, and to be loved is to be known. As we end this episode, I want to wish all of you, my listeners, a happy Valentine's. I hope that this episode gave you a lot to think about. I hope it's evolved your thinking about love. It certainly has. Like, seeing all the responses and being able to reflect on them has certainly evolved my understanding and appreciation of love. And as we continue with the month of love, I wish all of you a lot of love. Whether you have a Valentine's or not, that don't matter. Happy Valentine's, friends. Happy month of love to you all. Happy Black History Month. And continue to love, and I hope you continue to be loved. And I'll see you in the next episode.